I sprayed my tomato plants, my squash, and my beans with a solution I made in my kitchen for 37 cents, and within 72 hours every aphid, every whitefly, and every flea beetle was gone. No chemical pesticide, no protective gloves, no warning labels. I made it from ingredients that were already sitting next to my stove, and it took less than 10 minutes. I did not invent this. This formula has been in use since before any chemical pesticide company existed. In the 1880s, tobacco farmers across the American South documented recipes for soap-based insecticidal sprays in agricultural almanacs. Mixing rendered bar soap with water and sometimes adding small amounts of cooking oil to suffocate soft-bodied insects on contact. Across the Atlantic, British Victorian kitchen gardeners, particularly the head gardeners of large country estates in England during the 1850s through the 1890s, maintained detailed journals recording homemade sprays using soft soap, water, and botanical infusions to protect greenhouse vegetables and ornamental plants. And centuries before that, farmers in rural China had been using diluted wood ash water and plant-based washes to protect crops from insects, a tradition documented in agricultural texts dating to the Ming Dynasty in the 1400s. The usual advice today is to reach for a branded bottle, but this worked long before those bottles existed. So let me show you how to do it. You already know this works. You have seen it your whole life. You have watched a drop of dish soap hit a greasy pan and watched the oil scatter and dissolve in seconds. That same surfactant action is what makes this spray lethal to soft-bodied insects. Think of an aphid as a tiny creature wearing a thin, waxy raincoat. That waxy coating is what keeps it alive. It holds moisture in and keeps the outside world out, like a microscopic waterproof jacket. When the soap solution contacts that waxy layer, it dissolves it. The insect loses its ability to retain water and suffocates. It is not a poison that works through ingestion. It is a physical disruption of the insect's protective barrier. The science is straightforward. Fatty acid salts, the core molecules in true soap, penetrate and disrupt the cell membranes of soft-bodied arthropods. A study published in the Journal of Economic Entomology found that potassium salt-based soap solutions achieved between 82 and 96% mortality in aphid populations within 48 hours of application. The key word is soft-bodied. This spray works on aphids, whiteflies, spider mites, mealybugs, thrips, and young caterpillars. It does not harm hard-shelled insects like ladybugs and ground beetles, which are your garden's allies. Think of it as a selective filter. The soft ones cannot survive the contact. The armored ones walk right through it. And here is the part that gets me every time. Commercial organic insecticidal soaps at the garden center contain the same active ingredient, potassium salts of fatty acids, and they charge between $8 and $14 for a 32-ounce bottle. You are about to make a gallon of functionally identical spray for less than the cost of a single banana. Here is what you need. And I want to be honest with you. This is genuinely it. Pure liquid Castile soap, unscented. 1 tablespoon per quart of water is all you use. A 16-ounce bottle costs about $7.90 and will make roughly 48 quarts of spray. That is about 16 cents worth of soap per batch. If you cannot find Castile soap, any pure bar soap with no fragrances, no dyes, and no antibacterial additives will work. Grate a tablespoon of it into warm water and stir until dissolved. Vegetable oil, 1 teaspoon per quart. Any cooking oil in your kitchen works. Canola, sunflower, olive. The oil acts as a sticker and suffocant, helping the solution cling to the insect and the leaf surface longer. Cost per batch, roughly 3 cents. Water. Tap water works fine. If your tap water is extremely hard, meaning very high mineral content, the minerals can react with the soap and reduce its effectiveness. If you notice a filmy residue when you mix, use filtered water instead. But tap water works for the vast majority of homes. A spray bottle. Any clean spray bottle you already have. A repurposed window cleaner bottle works perfectly. That is 16 cents for soap, plus 3 cents for oil, plus 18 cents if you factor in the prorated cost of the spray bottle. That is 37 cents, less than a single postage stamp. And you have enough soap in that one bottle to make sprays for the entire growing season. Now let me show you how to mix it and apply it correctly, because the mixing matters more than people think. Start with warm water, not hot, not cold. Warm water dissolves the soap evenly and helps the oil emulsify. Pour 1 quart of warm water into your spray bottle. Add 1 tablespoon of Castile soap. Add 1 teaspoon of vegetable oil. Close the bottle and shake gently for about 15 seconds. You will see the solution turn slightly cloudy and uniform. That is what you want. Here is where most people ruin the entire treatment. They assume more soap means more killing power, and they double or triple the concentration. Do not do this. Excess soap will burn your plant leaves. The waxy coating on a plant leaf is not so different from the coating on an insect. If the soap concentration is too high, it strips the leaf's protective layer, and you will see brown, papery burn marks within 24 hours. 1 tablespoon per quart. That is the ratio. Respect it. Think of it like seasoning a soup. A pinch of salt makes everything better. A fistful ruins the pot. Spray in the early morning or late evening, never in direct midday sun. The water droplets act like tiny magnifying glasses under intense sunlight and can scorch the leaves. Early morning is ideal because the insects are sluggish and the air is cool, giving the solution time to contact and coat the pests before it evaporates. Spray the entire plant, tops and bottoms of every leaf, the stems, and especially the undersides of leaves where aphids and whiteflies hide. Most people spray only the tops because that is what they can see. But the majority of soft-bodied pests feed on the undersides. If you do not flip the leaf and spray underneath, you are missing 70% of the population. Lift each branch gently with one hand and spray underneath with the other. Here is the second mistake that makes people give up on this method. They spray once and expect the problem to be solved permanently. This is a contact killer, not a residual chemical. It only works while wet and in direct contact with the insect. Once it dries, it has no further effect. That is actually a feature, not a flaw, because it means there is 0 chemical residue on your food. But it also means you need to apply it every 3 to 5 days for 2 to 3 rounds to catch newly hatched insects that were eggs during your first spray. 3 applications over 10 days will break the reproductive cycle and collapse the population. Now let me give you a quick test to make sure your spray is working. 24 hours after your first application, go back to the plant and look at the undersides of the leaves you sprayed. Living aphids are plump, shiny, and they move slowly when disturbed. Dead aphids are shriveled, dry, dull-colored, and stuck to the leaf like tiny grains of brown rice. If you see mostly shriveled ones, your concentration is correct and your coverage was good. If you still see plump, active aphids, your coverage was incomplete. Spray again, this time more thoroughly on the undersides, and check again the next day. Touch a sprayed leaf. It should feel slightly slick, but not soapy or slimy. If your fingers feel like they are coated in dish soap, the concentration is too high. Dilute your next batch by adding an extra cup of water. At 24 hours after the first spray, you will notice a dramatic reduction in visible pest activity. The leaves will look cleaner. The tiny white specks of whitefly will be mostly gone. At 5 days after your second spray, the population will be visibly collapsed. New growth on the plant will be clean and undamaged. You will start to see the plant redirect its energy from damage repair to actual growth. At 10 to 14 days, after 3 applications, the pest cycle is broken. Ladybugs and other beneficial predators, unharmed by the soap, will begin moving in to clean up any remaining stragglers. Your plants will look healthier than they have in weeks. The leaves will be full and deep green, the stems firm, and if you lean close, you will smell that sharp, clean, green scent that healthy tomato and squash foliage gives off, a smell that pest-damaged plants lose entirely. While a season's worth of commercial organic pesticide spray runs between $35 and $60 for a home garden, your entire season's supply costs less than $2 in soap and oil. Scale this to a larger garden, and the math becomes almost absurd. A community garden group of 10 households could protect all their plots for an entire summer for under $20 total. While your neighbor is pulling out damaged plants and replacing them mid-season, a $40 loss per plant in some cases, yours are still producing because you caught the problem early with a solution that cost less than a coin from your pocket. This is not really about killing bugs. It is about understanding that the most effective solutions are often the simplest, and that complexity is not the same as quality. A Victorian gardener with a bucket of soapy water protected a greenhouse full of prize-winning tomatoes. A Ming Dynasty farmer with ash water saved a rice crop. The knowledge never stopped being true. It just got drowned out by brighter labels and bigger marketing budgets. That is what quiet competence looks like. It is not a shelf full of branded bottles with warning labels. It is a tablespoon of soap, a teaspoon of oil, and the patience to spray the undersides of the leaves. I do not want you to go spray your entire garden today. Start with one plant, one tomato plant or one squash vine that has a visible pest problem. One spray bottle, one batch. Treat this as an experiment. If it does not work, you are out 37 cents in 10 minutes. But when you check those leaf undersides the next morning and see the shriveled remains of an aphid colony that was destroying your harvest, and your plant standing there clean and unbothered and already pushing out new growth, you will not need me to convince you of anything. If this centuries-old pest control method changed the way you look at that spray bottle under your kitchen sink, please subscribe and like the channel. We are unearthing practical wisdom that the modern world has tried to bury. Protect your garden one leaf at a time. The next treasure of forgotten knowledge will be revealed soon. 6.